first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Memo akwa be edeba your number one channel Nsem-Pii TV, so be the first no yenko ye chikakra na yenko history na sa ensem wo ho papa ye be kan last week Monday say na Samri Ghana aye butu na say na papa Nsem-Pii lawyer e de nsem aba betu dwa say wate no ho afri New Patriotic Party amonyuko ni na Fisalan efi mu ekote ne party movement for change was started no ho adwuma no Ghana for Brebusa say Alan Nankasa na what is wrong with Alan e dey na ekoso within the party emu a intiama Alan efi ho na no na Semchoni odin dwuma Metro TV and the host of Good Evening Ghana on SI board chairman man Ghana Airport Company Limited Paul Adomotre and anagi Paul Adomotre nya time e dey go through history. In fact yebeka Alan resign no one of the people born Abaso was Mpiani and other things. And then Paul Adomotre ako deep actually chirim wow lawyer fan crabia that ekushia Alan Chematin back in the days of Addis Ababa College efa chimota ebe wure ma Emma Alan Cash, the term Alan Cash ne be di in Ghana politics me wure ma at the end of the day a time and answer a day some sort of conflict be beto na nando dan kwaku fuado ene papa your friend Alan Chematin sema just one malan they resign from the party yenti Paul Adomotre on Mpiani na nando dan kwaku fuado e fan krabia dete and bawumia
summary of something that's in Krabia Efadate wrote. You know who Krabia Efadate is, don't you? Krabia Efadate is a former deputy attorney general, former military officer, captain, lawyer, barrister at law. He was also minister for interior. And he's a former presidential aspirant of the New Patriotic Party. And he wrote as follows. I was born, bred, baptized, and confirmed as a Presbyterian. But thanks to Achimota School, the military, and the Accra Red Church, I am perfectly at home with any form of religious worship. And so one of my closest friends today is a certain charismatic bishop, Tom, he calls him, who burst into my office screaming, quote, but Captain, what ill omen symbol has Alan chosen? Let's move on. I first met John Kojo Alan Chematin in 1971 when I was in Form 5 at Chimota School, and he came from Adisadel to 6th Form, elder brother of my classmate Frimpong Mensah. Okay. From Achimota, I never heard of him again until in the year 2000 when, as an aspiring parliamentary candidate for Brekum on the New Patriotic Party ticket, I started hearing of him in party circles. President J. Ekufuor gave him a very juicy appointment as Ghana's ambassador to the United States of America, and in his second term, Kufuor made Alan his Minister for Trade and Industry. During the run-up to the 2007 presidential primary in the NPP, it was an open secret that President Kufuor was the principal backbone of John Alan Kojo Chematin, giving him the highly strategic accolade Alan Cash, the money man, splashing cash to the delegates. I was one of the 17 aspirants for the NPP flag bearer, and I well remember on my rounds I went to Wa, the Upper West regional capital. I was told that on the previous day, one aspirant in town speaking to NPP delegates when news flashed that Alan Cash had arrived in Wa with an aeroplane, and within minutes, the money-hungry NPP delegates had all abandoned the cash-strapped aspirants to welcome Alan Cash at the airport. An extremely very sad and embarrassing incident took place in the Upper East region. A district chief executive, DCE's mother, died. And 2 days before the funeral, he was removed on radio for the simple reason that he was a known supporter of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo instead of John Alan Chematin. On the D-Day when the primary took place at Legon on 29 December 2007, Nana Addo won narrowly. And the question was that, will Alan compromise or force through a runoff? I was there. And I saw Alan with a big man-sized handkerchief as he voluntarily, for the sake of the party, threw in the towel for Nana Addo to go. To all intents, to all and sundry, he he automatically became the next in line to take the flag bearer position after Nana Addo. But hang on, what is this? In less than 2 weeks after the Legon, news broke out that he who voluntarily resigned from a runoff at Legon had now resigned from the party to form his own party. Oh, again, less than a month later, he allowed himself to be talked to. He changed his mind, beat a hasty retreat, and rejoined the party of which he is a founding member. We lost in 2008 and in 2012. And in 2016, Alan made it clear to all and sundry that after Nana Addo, he was the next in line. In 2017, Nana Addo became president and kept Alan throughout as Minister of Trade and Industry, according to the MPP mantra of next in line, it drew me so. Alan set out after resigning as minister to campaign for the MPP flag bearership. His very first campaign move was to pay a courtesy call on Otumfuo the Asantehene and several principal paramount chiefs in Ghana, as if he were president already. According to the accounts, Akonya Toa, this year bia pribi. When a stool becomes vacant, every royal can campaign for the stool. Who told you, Edru so, that you are next in line? As many as 10 other aspirants filed their papers, 2 of them being very worrisome challenges. The incumbent vice president with underground support from officialdom, just like Alan enjoyed in 2007, and the latest kid on the block, grassroots popular rabble-rouser Kennedy Ohene Japan, Asin Central MP. He pulled a poor third, that's Alan, overtaken by Kennedy. And 1 week later, he chickened out from the upcoming November 4th showdown among the top 5. Whether John Allan Chermartin, ? Pundits, including myself, had a field day with predictions. Alan will form his own political party. Oh no, he will run as independent candidate. Oh no, he will force vice president to appoint him as his running mate. Oh no, he will partner Kennedy Ohene Japan. Oh no, you are all wrong. Alan is going to be vice president to John Mahama. Blah, blah, blah. Finally, Monday, 25th September, Allan Chermartin announced that he will contest the 2024 general elections as an independent candidate, leading a movement for change with the butterfly as his symbol. My senior in Achimota School is wrong. Very wrong. First of all, his symbol is fatally wrong. According to the bishop who visited with me, the lifespan of a butterfly is only 2 weeks. Extremely, very transient, signaling that his whole effort is a fairy tale that will not last long, will vaporize within days, unquote. Secondly, my senior ought to know one fundamental law in politics. Without an oligarchy, there cannot be a statesman. You need to have a political force, a well-defined cause, not a loner. You will never make it. Again, my senior did not nurture his base. He did not use his glorious past into 2007 advantage for his gain. How many funerals, even in Ashanti region, did he attend? Where was the face of Alan at notable MPP events throughout the country all these years? The records say that when he began his campaign, he went to Western North as Sefiri also. One MPP executive member speaking from the floor asked him a question that why is it that all these years we never see you except when it is time for you to contest flag bearer position, unquote. They say the man was so embarrassed that he avoided question time from that time onwards. In my view, Nkrabea Efadate says, if my senior John Allan Kojo Chermartin wants to be president of Ghana at all cost, before he dies, then he should do a major, very serious rethinking of his strategies. For now, the road ahead looks bumpy. Infantry army officers will say the ground is undulating, and this is written by Nkrabea Efadate. Okay, so that's Nkrabea Efadate's analysis of the matter. Now, let's start with the processes. Okay, so this is Alan Cash and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, the story of Alan Cash actually begins in 2007. So So in 2007, this contest occurred. Alan Cash emerged to challenge Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and this is the results that came out. At the end of the first round of voting, and there was only one round of voting, we call it first round because the rules show that Nana Addo Dankwa did not make the 50%. He got 49.7, polling 1,096 votes. Alan Kyerematen got 738, polling 32.5% of the vote. So this is what happened. Now, the people who were around Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo were unhappy with the process. And I was there, so I lived through it. I know what happened. They were unhappy with the process, not just the example that in Krabia Father gives. The example of the DCB sack is one of those things. But the Alan people, the Akufo-Addo people were not happy with the event. They were not happy because they felt that money had been used to achieve these results. They believed that without the influence of money, Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo would have won a huge landslide. That's what they believed. Whether they are wrong or not, we don't know. We'll find out as the story goes on. So Nana Addo sat down and took a decision. Having lost the elections of 2008, he was well aware that he may be running again. He was also well aware that Alan Kyerematen will be running again. So in 2010, there was something major that happened. I'm sure they're going to give me the, can you give me yeah, here it is. The proposal to amend the delegates list, championed by Akufo-Addo as a response to 2007 Congress. So that's how Akufo-Addo responded to the 2007 Congress. His response to the 2007 Congress was that he was going to propose an amendment to the party constitution so that this cash issue, Alan Cash issue, will be avoided, so that no one will be able to use money to buy the delegates. So Nana Addo told the MPP Congress in 2010, and when I sat with him back in those days in his house in East Legon and he discussed this amendment, I was worried that, well, it's good, but you are in the commanding lead of your party. If this amendment fails, what is going to happen? And I was shocked what he told me, and he told many people the same thing. Nana Addo said, if this amendment fails, I am not interested. That's a matter of public record. Everybody knows that. Nana Akufo-Addo said, if the amendment to expand the delegates list, and this is what he wanted to do, he's proposing for the party to vote to expand the delegates list from 2,000 to over 200,000, about 10,000%. From 2,000, which is what the MPP delegate, Edubwai, 2,000 people voted for him. John Kufuor, 2,000 people voted for him. In 1998, Kufuor Akufo-Addo, 2,000 people voted. Back in 2007, 2,000 people voted. Akufo-Addo said, we're not going to do this anymore. As far as he's concerned, he's taking this to the party. McMahon was chairman at the time, I believe, or Hininto was general secretary. He told the party that the Congress was at Legon, where the amendment was tabled. And Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo said, if this amendment doesn't pass, I am not interested. Because I don't want a Congress where somebody comes with cash. He calls himself Alan Cash. And then he distributes cash. And then we have a result that looks like he was able to do something. If we expand this to everybody, 200,000 people to vote. So Akufo-Addo's point was that the people who make the party are the polling station executives. Let the polling station executive have a role to play in who leads our party. Akufo-Addo said he's confident that if you ask the polling station executives to choose, they will choose him, and that they will choose him in a landslide, and that the cash people will not come near how much he will get if only the foot soldiers of the party are allowed to participate in the voting. Not 2,000, but 200,000. When the amendment was tabled, and I was at Legon, I was standing with some friends of mine, maybe they don't want me to mention their names now, so I was going to report the conversation we had that day, but I won't say it now. And we were watching. So the General Secretary announced that there's an amendment for the party constitution standing in the name of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo came to the stage, said, well, brethren, this is what I think. If this amendment doesn't pass, I don't think that I'm interested in going. Do you know what happened at Legon? The floor of the Congress started screaming Akufo-Addo's name. And they said that there's no reason to cast a ballot. They have all agreed that this amendment should carry. I was there. I'll get the video for you one of these days. That's what happened at the Congress. The people said, no, what are we going to put a ballot about? This amendment, we are carrying it. We will take this amendment. And they were screaming, cheering him on, carrying him aloft. That's what happened at the Legon Congress. And Akufo-Addo's amendment was carried. Now, have a look at this, viewers. Since Akufo-Addo's amendment was carried, in every election that he has challenged, he's been challenged by Alan Kyerematen. he's defeated him by more than 80%. Not 49.7 of the 2,000 people who voted, but 80%. He's defeated him all, flatly defeated him. It suggests to everyone who is looking at it that Akufo-Addo was right when he said that if there's no cash in this situation, Alan Cash will not be able to master 32%. But if there's cash and there's officialdom and DCs are being sacked and Nsem-Pii as chief of staff marauding all over the party is threatening people who are supporting Akufo-Addo, then you might have Akufo-Addo getting 49. But if you are dealing with 200,000 people and the election is not being conducted in a single place and is being conducted around the whole country, then you will see what is the real length of the crocodile. And that's what happened. Any election after that, Akufo-Addo has flatly defeated Alan, 80%, 85%. The last one before 2016, Alan managed 3% of 205,000 people voting. Of 2,000 people voting, Alan got 32%. Of 205,000 people voting, Alan gets 3%. Akufo-Addo wins. Now, the ghost of that was resurrected. When ahead of August 26th, a proposal came from the birthday boy, Alan Nsem-Pii, that the Congress should be held in one room. And everybody said, hey, what is he? Is he going to hell? No, we won't do it. He wants us to hold the Congress in one room. We will never do it. Why does he want us to hold the Congress in one room? We are holding the Congress across the country. We are not holding it in one room. That is one of the proposals that Alan is upset that the party didn't carry. And it shows in his resignation that when they said we should do it in one room, the party said no. Why does he want it to be done in one room? As they used to do it with 2,000 people. Why does he want to bring everybody at the same place so that we vote there? Why doesn't he want people to vote in their region, in Medina, in Bolga, in Kumasi, in Kwadaso? Why doesn't he want them to vote there? Now, that happens. Alan Nsem-Pii comes third. He qualifies for the 5. We are going into a ballot of 205,000 people. Anybody, any candidate who is confident about his popularity, irrespective of his positioning in the 5, will welcome that, okay, you people thought you cheated me with 900 people, now let's go to 205,000. Under no circumstance will any candidate be able to manipulate by 205,000 who are voting across the country on a single day. You will not be able to do that. So any candidate who believes that he's popular will welcome such a situation. Even if they cheat you in the superdelegates of 900, you know that duly, when it comes to 205,000, nobody can cheat you. I was going to ask for the photograph of Flight Lieutenant Rawlings. I forgot about it. Flight Lieutenant Rawlings looked at this situation, the amendment that Akufo-Addo had carried, and went to the NDC and said, hey, you people, let me tell you, if you don't change the way you elect your leaders, and Ghanaians see what Akufo-Addo has done with MPP, you are going to be in trouble. So then he said, what do you want us to do, Jerry? He says, I want you to expand your delegates thing better than the NDC and MPP, so that Ghanaians will see that we are even more democratic. Because with what Akufo-Addo has done with the MPP, with expanding the voters' delegates thing, Ghanaians are beginning to see him as real and beginning to see the MPP as a real party of democracy. If we don't do that, Ghanaians will begin to see us as if we are still not democratic, we are coup makers and da. So J.J. Rawlings urged this upon the NDC. Today, credits to Akufo-Addo again. People may not like it, but that's a fact. Credit to Akufo-Addo. The NDC's electoral college is higher than 205. It's about 220,000. That's the number that elected John Mahama recently. So what Akufo-Addo proposed has now been adopted by J.J. Rawlings and the NDC. And Akufo-Addo proposed this matter because there was cash. Alan Cash brought cash into Delegates Congress. When the Dubois was running, nobody heard about cash. People were running in Kofo and Akufo-Addo in Sunyani. I was there. I was in Sunyani. I was in Newsbet Hotel. I was there. I covered it. I covered actually that event for West Africa. The magazine. There was a magazine called West Africa Magazine. Those of you who are young don't know it. I used to write for West Africa Magazine. I was very small at that time. Carlos von Brazil remembers. We were there in Sunyani. We were there. And that was 2,000 people. And that's how it was elected. Nobody talked about cash. But in 2007, we had Alan Cash. Cash for the people, jobs for the people. That's what they said. And there was a lot of splashing of cash at Legon. I was